So I noticed that we have these seasons, right? We have these seasons, and I am very intentional with my life because I never started off here. I never thought that I would be here. Like I'll share where I've been a little bit later, but I am very intentional with the systems that I set up. When I look at what am I going to do for the new year, I'm not looking at what, how many miles am I going to run or what marathon I'm going to join or what book am I going to write next. I'm looking at what systems do I need in my life to live a more fully life. I have to do laundry every day. I have to do dishes all the time, right? And there's seasons for which that doesn't feel great and I need to hire somebody. And there's other seasons where it's like, how am I going to make this work in my busy life? So how am I going to set up systems to run my life, to run my, my home life, my homestead, my children and all the things that they've got. And of course, my work. And I've recognized, I spend every Sunday taking a look at my week. How did this last week work for me? What's going on in my life at this point in time? And then what do I need to do differently for this week coming up? What do I got to prep for? What do I got to prepare for? And sometimes it's like all of a sudden I become very aware of things that no longer work in my life. You know how bath time worked amazingly well at such and such time every day with these toys, like you had a system in place. It ain't working anymore, right?
Yeah.
And this is driving me nuts. And so now I know I've got to figure out something different to make that part of my life better. And I applied that same thing as a mom of someone who's gotten my life in order and feel really good about how I live my life because I've been so intentional about it. And I applied that also to my business. It took me a long time, but it was like, oh, my business has seasons. Oh, there's different iterations. Oh, the market changes, right? What was once necessary is now shifting, or the way in which we do things, the way we communicate, what people are looking for. And so these pivots become necessary, right? And I never got it all right. Like I still don't get it right. I'm in the process of implementing something completely different in my business because I noticed what has worked for us for so long is no longer working. So I'm like, okay, now I have to problem solve. And that means I've got this new thing that's coming out here very shortly. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, I hope it's going to work, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to apply it because I'm taking what I've learned before and I'm applying it to this new thing. And who knows, it might bomb, right? I don't know if it's going to be successful, and I won't know until I put it out there, but I will learn something. And I'm going to learn something that's going to be important that I can apply to the next thing if it's even necessary.
Yeah.
And no matter what, I'm going to learn something, right?
Well,
Whether it's or quote unquote failure, but it will eventually lead to something that's going to work because I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going until I get it.
Well, and you stack this. First off, okay, I'm gonna backtrack because ladies, I think Miranda might have said like one of the most important things that anybody could say. Just gonna say this, right? Because Shannon was like the priming, the neuro priming. Okay, brilliant. That one is like, you need it. You said it's systems. Like it's all just systems. And I think you hit on something that is like everybody that I know that is not just successful, like doesn't just have things that are like, but is actually happy. They're actually happy. I think that is what you do is you look at the systems and then because if you look at it as systems, then I think it's easier to see what doesn't work anymore. Because I think we talk a lot about what doesn't serve you, what doesn't fulfill you, and those feel hard to know what that means. Because oftentimes we're like, well, but I'm supposed to feel this way. So like, but you when you think of it like a system, then the system, it's either working or it's not. Yeah, like bath time's either working or it's not. Or
yeah, for kids, bath time is a system, right? Like that's where it goes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everything is systems. My health, my well-being, that's a system. And so I know that I need to take my herbs and I need to work out and I need to move my body. And like, those are important things. And that becomes a system. Is that system working? Is it feeling good for me? And I have, my whole life is based upon that. And I'm very fluid. Like as a mom, you know that certain days, like things are not going to happen. And other days it's going to, you'll get 5 things done on your list. And, for 3 days straight, you'll get nada, right? It doesn't matter. But in the end, like I feel like we have a rhythm and that rhythm feels very fluid. It feels really good. And then when it doesn't, I make a shift so that it continues to be in the space. And my business operates in the same breath. We look at what is working, what is not. Why is that the case? Okay, what do we need to do to pivot?
How do you, because I'm curious, but the way you do this is that if you're looking at something and it's not working anymore, like it's a system that's not working anymore, or it doesn't feel right? Because sometimes it's not even necessarily that you can tell, you put your finger on it. A lot of our women will go, okay, it just doesn't feel right. And there's a distinction between it doesn't feel right because it's scary and uncomfortable because you need to push into the unknown, like your body's trying to keep you comfortable, or it's actually not serving you anymore, right? Because I spent almost 2 years feeling like the Boss Moms Facebook group, there was something wrong. There's something like everybody was like, oh my gosh, Dana, you just up and closed this huge Facebook group. And I was like, no, I have been mulling this over for years because it's not doing what I want. It's not even giving the women, even though it was hugely engaging, it was nagging at me, but it took me a long time to really figure out what it was. And am I just not scaling or growing things the way I want? Like I had a Boss Mom Academy and everybody's like, just scale it. And I was like, I couldn't. It's like I couldn't get myself to do it. And I did a lot of coaching and therapy to be like, am I just too scared to do it or do it? And it really was like, no, that's not what I'm trying to build, kind of thing. So how do you decide when it's like it feels like it's not working because it's really not serving you, it's really needs to be a shift, or it's like just scary and so it feels like it's not working, but it's because you're not actually like getting yourself to do the right things or think the right way? Does that make sense?
Yeah, such a great question. Such a great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think first and foremost is I take assessment of everything, right? Like if I'm looking at a system, I'm like, okay, why isn't it working? Like what about it does work? What has worked in the past? And if it's my business and I'm looking at, say, like a webinar, I'm looking at the numbers. I need hard evidence to show that this is okay. If I'm looking at bath time with my kids, right? I'm looking at, okay, how many fits actually were there versus how many baths were there? You know what I mean? Like you have, because sometimes that one fit feels like it ruined the entire week when you had to have 5 baths or whatever, you know what I mean? Or if you're adding them all up, 15, plus more, it's like in the grand scheme of things, did it really fall apart? No, it didn't. You just had a bad day. Right. Or, I look at the numbers and I'm like, actually, that converted really well. Right. Or maybe I just need to get more people in, or maybe if I just said this one little thing. And so making some tweaks to it. But sometimes that hard evidence is really important because our feelings can often get in the way and make us think that it's something else when it really isn't. And so I think that data, that real assessment to taking a step back and being like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And is this legit?